Hello and welcome to season 2 of Straight Guy K-Drama Reviews. I just want to take a second to thank all of you who joined me in season 1. I was so happy and inspired by the response that here I am doing a season 2. Alright, so for the premiere, I want to review Mr. Sunshine. So I've got my notes here. Let's start my 10-point review. Number 1, the plot. So, I want people to come in and remember that this show is a historically adjacent drama. Okay, so it takes place between the late 1800s to the early 1900s, which is a violent time for Korea as it sought not just independence but really sovereignty from foreign powers, right? Um, so initially there was a lot of controversy because there are some historical inaccuracies within the show. And so a lot of Korean scholars, historians were really mad about that. So I think it's best to remember that this is actually a fictitious story that's placed beside a historical event. The main love story is between an American Marine who's actually originally from Korea. So he was a slave boy and escaped to America and then has come back on assignment. And then a noble lady who's actually a member of a secret organization called the Righteous Army. All right, number 2, the themes. This is an epic drama. So there's a lot of themes that are being tackled here, but I want to talk about two main ones that are very important. Okay, number 1, the struggle against hopelessness. This is a recurring theme throughout the show because, you know, the noble lady and the righteous army, they're fighting for Korea at a time when so many foreign powers are overwhelming Korea, and at the same time so many of their fellow Koreans are actually happy to sell their country out. So, there's this feeling of hopelessness, and the theme is, even if nobody else wants to fight for what you believe in, you have to fight because you don't know who's going to be inspired by your actions, right? And the second theme is that they deal a lot with feminism, how women, especially in Asian countries, like Japan, Korea, China, where the women are being pushed to the back. They're constantly underestimated, they're never given opportunities. And then they talk a lot about privilege, about race issues. So a lot of current issues that we're facing are actually tackled in this historically adjacent drama. Okay, so watch out for that. Number 3, production value. So this is actually probably the third or fourth collaboration of the writer Kim Sook and the director Lee Yong-bong. So these guys combined to do Descendants of the Sun and Goblin, two of the biggest hits in Korea. And Mr. Sunshine was the third big hit for them. And you know what they did? They got the best of both worlds from Descendants of the Sun and Goblin, which is that they had comedic and romantic banter that was perfect. You could see that in all of their previous shows. And also just excellent at writing bromances. So number 4, Lee Byung Hun plays the Eugene Choi, the title character. So just like Hyun Bin, he has this stoic nature about him, and I'm not usually a fan of non-expressive actors, but here it actually makes all of his comedic lines really perfect. He the humor is very dry, so the fact that it's being said by a stoic looking person, it's just perfect. At the same time, he has this great presence. Lee Byung Hun has this great presence whenever he's on screen and whenever he's walking. Um, it almost feels like he's taller than he actually is. I also love the journey of his character because he struggles because people see him as he's not American enough to be American. He's not Korean enough to be Korean. So he's stuck in this place where people on both sides really don't believe in him. So that struggle was really important and really well played on the show. All right, number 5, Kim Tae Ri, who plays Koe Shin, the noble lady who's secretly a fighter, right? A rebel fighter. And in this show, so there's 3 men that are totally head over heels in love with her, that they all are willing to throw away their lives for her. So normally you would think like, what kind of woman can inspire that kind of undying love, right? But she actually is worth fighting for because she's beautiful, she's intelligent, tough, skilled, and also eager to learn. So like it's almost like the perfect woman, right? And Kim Tae Ri is able to portray that really well. She has this intensity in her portrayal, where you see her sheer determination. It's like oozing out of her, and I thought that was the most important part in her portrayal of this character. Okay, number six, Yeon Sook. So right, so he's a Korean who fled to Japan, became a sword for hire, basically a samurai for hire, like a modern day gangster, right? So he's the least surprising of all. But you know, I love the journey that he goes through. This character goes through because you know he is a bad guy. He kills people for a living and then he extorts money, right? So he runs a brothel. So he's not like somebody that you can redeem, and I think the show is very careful not to redeem him. And I think it was very well handled. So Kim Min Jung, who plays Kudo Hina, plays this character so well. You know, an intelligent, skilled, very poised, but also very vulnerable character. And I thought that because of her, she made this character super sexy. You know, the most fun part here is that she played this character where she's morally ambiguous. You're never sure if she's gonna sell you out or if she's gonna help you. So you're never sure. That's why her character is so compelling throughout the series. All right, number eight, food and fun. So a dish called Baeksuk is actually featured heavily on the show. So Baeksuk is a chicken soup, and it's very similar to the samgyetang, which is the ginseng chicken soup. Man, you know the soup, the broth looks really milky, and that means that when the chicken is cooked, all of its collagen goes into that broth. That's why it's so milky. Oh, I can imagine that now. It's raining right now in the Philippines, so I would love to have a bowl of baeksuk. All right, number nine, verdict. So cinematography alone, it's already worth the watch. Um, but also just lovely, lovely stories of developing relationships. Like I said, there's a very interesting and entertaining bromance between three romantic rivals. There's the the great dynamic between the two female characters as well. And speaking of cinematography being worth the watch, I think one of my favorite ever fight scenes is between these two female characters. It's just amazing. You know, they were fighting, it was raining outside. There was a thunderstorm. It's just beautiful. You have to see that. And it's in one of the earlier episodes too. And also, finally, you know, one of the main things on why this show is very important to watch is it's a great example of how forms of oppression, right, like war, slavery, racism, classism, violence, okay, it transcends generations. The reason why we want to avoid this is because it doesn't just affect the people that you oppress. You know, this kind of oppression, it affects their children, their children's children. So definitely something worth thinking about when you watch this show. Okay, number 10, ratings. So for season 2, I'm changing up the ratings because I realized that I always give shows 8 to 10 Korean hearts anyway. So I'm gonna rate it now as novice, advanced, and expert. So novice means, you know, if you watch this, you can watch this K drama as a first to fifth type of K drama, right? Advanced meaning you've seen quite a number of K dramas, and then expert is it's really gonna be tough for straight guys to watch. So for this show, this is advanced. Okay, the reason why I'm calling this advanced is because it's long. It has 24 episodes. Each one is at least an hour and 20 minutes long. So it's almost like watching 24 movies, right? It's going to be a little bit of a tough watch just because of the sheer length of it, I think, and nothing else. This show is really great. I would recommend it to everyone. I don't know why I waited this long to watch it, actually. So there you go. That's my 10-point review of Mr. Sunshine. So as usual, please comment in the comment section below if you agree or disagree with my points. And again, I would love to hear your suggestions on which K-drama I should review next. Meanwhile, you can watch my other videos right now.